The Odd Lot, a podcast that's about everything auctions, sporting memorabilia, and an odd lot.
Hello and welcome to the Odd Lots podcast, our first outing at Graham Budd Auctions. Introducing myself, my name is David Convery. I'm the head of our sporting memorabilia department, and two of my colleagues here going to join in the podcast are our CEO, Adam Gascoigne, and Mr. Sheffield himself, John Garrett. Do you chaps want to say hello and introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Adam, CEO of Graham Budd Auctions and a West Brom fan for all my sins.
Thanks, David. It's a pleasure to be outed by you. John Garrett, Senior Valuer for Graham Budd. As my dulcet southern tones will tell you, I'm a born and bred Sheffield lad. For my sins, I'm a Blade and Yorkshire County cricket fan. And I'm really looking forward to be able to chew the fat with everybody about some of the exciting stuff we've got going on at Graham Budd at the moment.
Thanks, guys. And I just say, I am a Scotsman. I'm based north of the border. So at Graham Budd Auctions, we're sort of covering the country, spreading out. So before we start, basically, this podcast is all about the upcoming sale in March, 7th and 8th, which is over 1,100 lots of covering most sports. We've got cricket, tennis, boxing, golf, motor racing, and of course, the biggest bulk of the sale will be football memorabilia. But just before we get into that, just a note on the last sale, which was our single owner private collection spanning 120 years. A wonderful sale, and what we call in the business a white glove auction. All lots that were offered for sale were sold that particular day. So it's always a pleasure to do, and I was pleased to see that those items go to find new homes. It comes from a very special source that, I've known for many, many years, as is Graham and Adam, John as well. So it was a special collection, and delighted to have the pleasure to sell it on. Top lot that day was the Bradford bound volume programs over £20,000. That was with obviously the buyer's premium, and the programs obviously within the volume were just in wonderful condition. So a really rare thing, and delighted to see that go for that amount of money that day. Moving on, so let's have a quick chat about the 7th and 8th of March auction. It's online now at www.grahambuddauctions.co.uk. All the information's there, and I'll start with Adam, obviously being our CEO. Adam, there's some wonderful lots in this sale. Anything catches your eye?
Oh, I think there's loads. I think one thing that stands out to me is just the quality of items in this sale. I think certainly the best range of items since I've been involved with Graham Budd Auction. So really looking forward to it. It's a difficult one to pin a single item down, but I think if we're looking at, I love the World Cup items. It's always an area of interest to me. So there's two or three crackers in there. And I think one of the more unusual ones is I think it's lot 915, the chronograph stopwatch from the referee from the 54 World Cup final. Sadly, it's not in working order, but
You know the feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's lovely, and just some very simple Breitling watch engraved simply on the back, and from the referee from the final of the game.
Well, that's an interesting story, because obviously that came in via one of our valuations, obviously again via our website, from Canada. Obviously after he retired from refereeing, he moved to Canada, and that little watch was found in a sort of antique shop in the middle of nowhere, and the vendor obviously tracked the individual down, and got in contact to see this is what's belonged to him. He sent it back to Breitling himself and to see if he can get it repaired, but unfortunately it was beyond repair. So it is just really a piece of history. And of course, the 54 finals, all sorts of controversy. You can say
it's easy for you to say.
Yeah.
But I know, in the 1954 final, last minute, this, that, and the next thing. So lots of skullduggery going on as far as I'm reading the newspapers. So really good thing, a really nice thing, interesting thing as well, and an estimate of £2,000 to £3,000. So not a huge amount of money for a piece of history like that. So
we had a former player I came across, and when he finished in this country, went across to Canada, and he played a part in forming the Canadian Football Association. While he was out there, He lost an arm in a sawmill accident. Not that there's anything funny about that at all. And then he also lost his life in a train crash. And unbelievably, his nickname as a player wasn't Lucky. But it's perfectly true that lost an arm in a sawmill accident, he got killed in a rail accident.
I don't know how you top that one.
Well, we're going to try.
What about you, John? What's caught your eye in the catalogue?
You know me, I'm going to hold my hands up. I didn't realise there were any sports outside of football and cricket until I started working for Graham Budd. With me, it's always football. And there is some truly wonderful things. I think if I had to take anything home, other than my colleagues, of course, then it'd be the Middlesbrough shirt. You know, we all know just how hard it is to find football shirts pre-Second World War. And to turn a shirt up, which we think dates from sort of 1886 to 1890, it's pre the days when the Borough played in red. It would have originally been white. That wonderful polka dot collar and button trim on it's incredible. Almost like a going out shirt. And certainly I've got at least one colleague in mind who would definitely wear that for going out, haven't we, David? Also the badge and everything, the history in that one garment, you can smell the history on it. And not the Fabrice, it has to be said, but we're sort of looking around the 20 to 30,000 mark on that. An absolutely superb piece, breathtakingly good. To take me out of my comfort zone, the Speedway helmet, the golden helmet, what a wonderful thing. It's one of those moments we were down in the office and I think you unwrapped it out of the box. And normally I'd be like, oh yeah, great, Speedway helmet, fantastic. But fashioned out silver, hallmarked, the winner's engraved on it, real Art Deco quality. Just a great story behind it as well, Bellevue, Manchester. You know, that's sitting in any collection, any man cave. Whether you like Speedway or not, it's a work of art. You know, that's the great debate. When does it cease to be a piece of football or sporting memorabilia?
It's absolutely
art, yeah.
It's absolutely stunning. I was just doing a condition report on it about 10 or 15 minutes ago, photographing the hallmarks and
yeah,
a bit of the detail. It's the first time I've held it, and it's absolutely stunning.
Never seen anything quite like it. Yeah, yeah.
It's the fact. It's also the fact that it's inners as well. I mean, in theory, you can wear it because obviously it's been designed. You know, it has its. It's not just a trophy. It has the the leather innards, the straps, and everything else. So.
No, in Sheffield, you couldn't, mate. You won't last long in that.
Well, you may dazzle a few motors with that, especially the sun shining. That's for sure. So, but no, that's. I think we all agree when we saw that. I mean, we're all in the office together when it arrived. Then
the two things you mentioned there, John, the shirt as well. The thing that strikes me about both lots is just how good a condition they're in. I mean, that shirt. Not only has it survived, but the condition it survived in is fabulous.
There's one small repair on it, but I mean, what I always love about shirts, medals are great. I mean, that's given after the event. So you've won the final, you participated, you walk up the steps, you know, fake king, hands you the medal, whatever it is, shake your hands, there you go. But back in those days, you didn't change your shirt half time. A lot of the time, the shirt you played the final in, or the big games in, would be the same shirt you'd had all season. And just imagining that being on a player's back, that having the sweat, the anxiety, everything that rolls into big games or any game or any sport, and you know it's there. You can almost touch the history, can't you, in a shirt?
Yeah.
But it's not just that; it's the material also. I mean, I can't imagine playing football in that shirt. You know, sweating, it's raining with a heavy bladder ball. I mean, it must have been scratching beyond belief. You know, the irritation from that particular shirt as well. And of course, it's almost like a night shirt, as you said. I mean, it's very, very, very long. So almost like taking out your back, your big bloomers at the bottom too. So
knickers.
I mean, it's survived, as you say, it survived wonderfully well. And just, you know, obviously you've put it next to other modern shirts and there's obviously no comparison what it is and what it is back then. And it's just a pleasure. I mean, we do have the greatest pleasure to see some of the most wonderful items.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just not quite Marzio, but just touching on, you know, the weekend just passed. I had the pleasure of spending time with John in Sheffield, and we were invited along to Hallam FC, the country when they do the oldest football ground in the world, and we got to value the Yoden Cup, which was a wonderful piece of history. Again, you know, with a valuation evening also, and what a wonderful event that was, and what a wonderful thing to see again, and to have the pleasure of, you know, John and I and Graham Budd, auctions, having the pleasure to value it for insurance for the club. So, you know, we do get to see some wonderful items, and it's a real pleasure to see them and to chat about them as well.
You know,
so come on then, David. What's your you've asked us, what's your favourite?
Do you know, I'm not a big sort of, John, obviously, I like my golf, and I am a closet cricket fan, being a Scotsman, and I do like to follow English cricket. But here's a curveball for you. I think the set of racing silks that, to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, you know,
the Joe Mercer ones,
just amazing. Just the colour, see, it's not something that it appeals to me, but just seeing these, I think, given the history and obviously what's happened recently, I think they're such a wonderful set of silks, beautifully framed from 1974. And again, they're very visual and tactile as well, I think. So, and again, it just gives us the breadth of items we get to sell at auction, you know, covering all of that. I just think they're wonderful things. And, you know,
I think one of the things we always talk about is provenance. So to have a letter from Joe Mercer along with the silks as well is fabulous on that. I'd have to agree.
Great footballer as well.
Yes, indeed.
I'm still working that one. I'll come back in a minute, don't panic.
Exactly. And again, and secondly, is just, I guess, the Olympic medal, 1890, the first Olympic Games item. Sadly, you know, we don't know who was awarded to. And of course, there's a silver medal for the gold medal winner. There's a party there. So all these things, again, a piece of history. So we not only we get to value the oldest football cup the other day, we get to see the first Olympic medal as well from 1896, first modern games.
I hadn't realised there weren't gold first Olympic medal.
No, I think, you know, if, I'm sure someone will sort of contradict me, but the last actual gold medal, as far as I can remember, was 1908. Was London Olympics in 1908. They were the last actual gold medals. Everything else since has been sort of gilt metal or, you know, gold plated type thing. So
sorry, I meant there weren't gold in colour. I just
oh, so you mean absolutely, yeah.
It's interesting to know that the first one's winners medal silver.
Yeah.
Second place bronze. Am I right? And then
that's right.
Third.
Yeah, but everything back then was
in it, yeah.
But everything back then was black and white. Anyway, there was no colour back in the Victorian times. Is that not right?
Correct.
Was colour not a 20th century thing?
Lettuce was grey. And still is in parts of Scotland, apparently.
So is that for those people in watching in black and white, the brown's behind the pink?
That's the very same thing. Absolutely. Yeah.
For those of you watching in colour?
Olympic snooker. That's the next thing.
Say another good one as well, and you just sort of, it brings back to me the ebb and flow of football in terms of who's achieving and who's not. I love the back-to-back Portsmouth League Championship medals. 48, 49, 49, 50. Peter. Why have I gone
Come on, John. Peter Harris.
Yeah, Pete Harris. I said Peter had played for Portsmouth. Yeah. Sort of great picture, and it sort of brings back to you the sort of power of football. But Field Marshal Montgomery was their life president, wasn't he? And was on all the sort of successful pictures. You got Monty of Alamein, so sat with the Portsmouth team. But yeah, back-to-back league championships. Yeah, back-to-back.
I didn't know that. That's every day is a school day.
Surely is. But I love them, you know, and I used to think when I first started being involved around memorabilia and sport, what have you, that the 1940s and 50s were quite modern history. It's like 80 years, 75 years ago, isn't it? Incredible.
Well, you talk about we're having this conversation about the Premier League, and I always think of the Premier League as a relatively modern invention, but it's been around 30 years now. It's 30-year-old blokes never known anything different with football, top flight football.
It's all relative, isn't it? You think 30 years before 1992 was 1962.
That's amazing.
Man hadn't even walked on the moon, you know.
What a stat that is that you fetched out there.
Yeah. And 30 years before that was 1932. Do you need me to go on?
No, I'll work in the next one out, I think.
And what time did the paper round start then in 1932, John?
So I'm just trying to wake up from listening to somebody from Birmingham talk for 5 minutes. What did you say, Dale?
I think you'll find. I think you'll find I'm not from Birmingham. But
oh, sorry, there's a distinction, isn't there?
Black Country. Thank you very much.
The Sandwell Arch.
Back to the auction. Back to the auction. And again, looking through the top lots, again, I don't think we can dismiss Manchester United. There's some wonderful items in the sale. Absolutely. And I guess the most point will be the Bobby Charlton shirt that he swapped with Puskas. Obviously, after the unfortunate Munich disaster, Man U played Real Madrid sort of, five friendly matches after the event. Obviously, Matt Buzzy was trying to obviously bring the team back up to par and obviously playing the best club in Europe at the time. Obviously, Real Madrid were the team to beat. So, wonderful shot. Obviously, the two players going at it, and imagine respect after the game that they swapped jerseys after the shot. So it's a real rarity to get, and come from the Puskas family as well. So the provenance is second to none. It carries quite, so it's a punchy estimate, 20 to 30,000, but it's got history and it's a wonderful thing. And it's just a great item to have for sale.
I think you're going to struggle to say an earlier Bobby Charlton shirt, aren't you, than that?
Yeah, really. Absolutely. Especially the provenance item as well. We can't question that. So
we talked about that earlier, didn't we? And the fact it's come from the Puskas family.
Yeah.
Just another stunning shirt, really.
Yeah. But just obviously very hard to sort of distinguish. Obviously, in those days it was just a number on the back, no shirt badge, nothing like that. So of course, no squad numbers then. So they sort of sort of numbers were sort of given out round and about. So, but to have that provenance, to have that fact that swapped against Real Madrid, fantastic. And there's also a nice wee sort of collection of shirts from a chap called Tommy Hamilton, who was a Scotsman who moved down to Manchester in the 60s and sort of ran a wee bespoke sort of gym come gambling den come pub, and got to know and befriend the bulk of the Man U players at the time. And he used to go along afterwards, as far as I work out. Players would go along afterwards for some weight training, etc. And a lovely wee collection of shirts. There's a sort of really nice, again, another George Best shirt there. There's a sort of unusual Northern Ireland shirt with a sort of strange or unusual waistband, Dennis Law Scotland shirt, and a really nice early Rangers shirt. And certainly looking at the interest already in those shirts online, it's proving a popular resection within the catalogue. So they're nice lots again, and should do very well for us.
And I think what an interesting business model, that it's a pub, a gambling den, and a gym all rolled into one. I can't.
No, bespoke, Adam, bespoke.
Oh yes. Well, that's actually, I was speaking to a contact in Manchester and that says very words that there was quite a lot of these small bespoke post-training, post-match establishments in Manchester that various members of the team frequented, and but Tommy seemed to be the one that they all went to more often than not. So, and there's a postcard that came from Nobby Styles that sent to Tommy 1970 World Cup. I think Nobby was injured prior to the sending, but the note says obviously got him fit and ready, and obviously Nobby made the squad to Mexico, but sadly didn't play. Didn't go on the pitch, but there's a really nice shirt he gave him, the Airtex, the famous teabag shirt he gave to Tommy. So that's in the sale as well. And although unworn by Nobby, obviously number 15 was his squad number then, but it's I think everyone's got a real sort of passion for the Airtex, or the wee teabag shirt as it's called. So again, that should be some interest online as well.
That 70 shirt's always a firm favourite. You don't sound very often at all, do you?
Iconic as well, great image.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else?
Well, we don't see a lot of motor racing things, do we? So to get a race worn helmet is another really interesting piece. A Nelson PK helmet.
Yeah.
I think that's a great piece, and lots of people interested in that. We've had quite a few condition reports on it. A lot of people watching it online.
Great sportsman, though, Adam. Yeah.
Interesting to hear the debate on it, and trying to pin down what season, what race it's from. So a lot of people getting involved in that. I think that's going to do really well.
Yeah. Well, these days, and what we're lucky enough, especially you've got the access to the internet, with images and so on. And so, back in the cold dark days, when trying to do this, it was difficult trying to get reference books. But now with obviously the internet and lots of sites that we use, obviously there's various memorabilia sites that we can sort of reference to, photo archives as well. So, we've got real insight that we can pretty much pinpoint these items down to a match or a race or a, whatever event that happened. So that's always a good thing for us. And, we try to, Graham Bird Auction, to try to match everything we possibly can. And so at least the people that are buying the lots know that they're buying as we've catalogued them out, and we're happy to catalogue them out. And I think that's quite important to get across as well.
You had that recently, David, didn't you, with the medal you'd sold a number of years ago that was unengraved, and then it reappeared as the engraved medal, didn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say too much, obviously, at the moment. But yes, the medal came into for auction that is unusual. It was a Scottish medal, so it piqued my interest again, being a Scottish item. And I remembered it being sold, well, one similar being sold at auction many years ago, as it transpired that, with high-res images and, wee bit detective work, it was actually the same medal that was offered back in 2008, had gained an inscription, let's say. Since then, it come back round again for auction, but of course, not something we could sell. It was, the medal was a genuine medal from the period. It wasn't as, I say, later inscribed since 2008. So that was sent back. No point finger at the vendor. It had nothing to do with it. Just he bought it as a going concern. But anyway, yeah. So we're always striving to, as I said, make sure everything we're putting up for sale is as it's catalogued. And we are more than happy. Obviously, when the catalogue goes online, we've had one or two emails suggesting that cataloguing is not quite correct, and obviously we're happy to change it. That's what we do, and we're always learning as well. Although we're specialists for many years, we're always learning new things, and happy to hear people's views and opinions on items that we're selling at auction.
Tell you one more thing, and I love one in that just fascinates me in terms of value. The Beckham boots, incredible. You say every day is a learning day. Quite agree, and I've seen footballer boots for most of my working life, but was it 10 to 15 grand? Go on, even I'm fascinated. How come they're 10 to 15 grand?
It's David Beckham. He's still an icon, absolutely. And there's been pairs sold before. I mean, I got back in the day again. We're talking about back in the day. I sold a pair of David Beckham's boots to a 6-foot blue squirrel back in the day.
Oh, I love the 80s, didn't you?
I know. And the big blue squirrel who bought them had to buy them because he already flagged them up as a prize in a competition they hadn't bought yet. But he didn't. He didn't take into account that there was a pub in Cheshire, Man U pub, that he wanted to buy them as well. So we had them at pre-sale estimate £1,500 to £2,000, and they made 15,000 out the door.
Wow.
And the blue squirrel was squirming. He was sort of 6 foot when he started, and sort of 2 foot when he walked out the door because to pay £17,000.
Was he squirreling him away for later then?
Basically, absolutely, yes. So there's always been he's always been an icon, and these are quite special because obviously these boots have the additional sort of studs at the back, and when they were sort of designed, I think they weren't quite steady enough for. I think David wanted them changed slightly, so this was a sort of quick fix, so we can sort of date them to that sort of period, late 1990s. So and I mean the classic Predator boots. I mean, Adidas was his thing. So very visual, and again down to provenance. No question of provenance. Came from a very, very good source who looked after David in those days. And again, I think we'd pre-sale interest, in them before. So really good
Yeah,
things. And
lots of watches again, and I think it's one of the things I've seen in football collecting over the last few years. Really, is I think when you first go into it, there were two kinds of collectors: there were people who collected football memorabilia and program collectors. And these days, it's fragmenting, and there's people that collect just boots, just balls, specialise in balls, shirts. The market's really drilling down into specific areas, and you're seeing that and reflected in prices now just on these. You've obviously got the Beckham factor, but the Predator boots, on their own, how highly sought after they are.
I was
Absolutely.
Go on, David. Sorry.
No, I mean, they're just rare things, and because obviously these days players are very reticent to let stuff go. Now you'll see them after the game, can I get your shirt type thing, or see in the dressing room afterwards. So they are aware of their brand, especially the higher profile players. So there's not a huge amount come onto the market that you can categorically say match worn, match used. Lots and lots of replicas online, and certainly buyers beware buying online. Not all bad, of course, but just be mindful that retail and auction are two different things completely. And but yeah, just to get these and back, and they're early enough to be rare enough as well. And I think what caught my eye, back to Man U, there's a wonderful collection of glass slides from the 1950s and 60s relating to Manchester United. Really nice images that I haven't seen for a while of the past players. We get styles again, Violet, Charlton, Harry Gregg, and so on and so forth. Really nice sort of lot of stuff. And again, we'd make a wonderful display if blown up, and they should hopefully get a bit of interest. And not just where United fans, he was also a nice collection again from Man City, same sort of period as well. So we're taking on both sides of the Manchester teams there. So really nice lots in the sale.
And you mentioned Violet in there. Obviously, we've got his medal as well.
We have, yes, absolutely. That's again, that's come back round again. We had that OL before, and we've had a few things that come back round again that seem that did better than before. I guess just the state of the market. We always mention the market's moving on, and certainly this was the case. This was bought a few years ago at auction and come back round again, and we've got it back in here at 12 to 18,000, which seems to the market price today. And again, as you'll see, as Adam mentions, we've had plenty of interest for these items at the moment. So,
I think it's testament to the quality of the auction that how long we've been talking there. And we haven't even mentioned Raymond Copper and his 3 absolutely. European Cup final medals. Any other sale, they'd be front and centre, wouldn't they? But what an achievement that is.
As you know, Adam, these were sort of last minute things for us. We were sort of one Friday night, the collection arrived, and we're sort of looking through the box like Christmas Day, and we found 3 Raymond Copper European Cup, back-to-back medals. I thought, wow, they've got to go in the sale. And again, and this all sort of harks back to, you mentioned the sort of Busby Babes earlier on with Puskas and the Charlton shirt. Obviously, they were the team back then. So obviously, Busby wanted to sort of bring the team back up to speed. So he was playing the best. And funny enough, Copper, as you know, sort of 56, played. It was in the losing side. He played for Reims, and so he basically won it. He was in the final 4 years in a row, and 3 winners and 1 runners up, and they're beautiful medals as well. Really nice stunning looking medals.
Yeah, they are. They're stunning in their own right.
Just purely for that, they're just looking at the very, very, very visual, and the fact, of course, Raymond Copper again, a wonderful, wonderful player, and just there you go, just back-to-back champions.
I thought you'd gone all emotional then, David.
Well, as you say, just there were sort of last minute things for us that Friday night Wellingborough. So, it's just, I remember them now, and looking through the catalogue, I think it's just the medal catches your eye first because it's just such a nice thing to look at. And then you go from there. So,
tell you what, as well, another great point about that. Not only the surprise of opening a box at 5:30 on a Friday night and finding 3 European Cup winners' medals. But I always remember the first sort of junket we did down at Wembley, and we're doing the World Cup stuff. And you think, hang on a minute, I've never ever dreamed for a moment I'd be holding a World Cup winners' medal, or I'd be holding a European Cup winners' medal. And yet here we are sat talking. And as Adam said, it's anything but an afterthought. But you sort of gone through all the things and go, by the way, we've got all these Kopka medals and we've held them. And, it's not a bad life, is it, if you're a football fan?
I think, firstly, when you're up to your eyes in, a sale and you desperately try and work to the deadline and what we got in this sale, over 1,100 lots, you have to force yourself to stop and just take in what you're holding and look at it, because it's so easy just to be matter of fact and move on to the next item and do the cataloguing, take the image. But you have to stop. I mean, the 1886 medal. I mean, that was in the same batch.
Yeah.
The FA Cup winners medal. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever hold an older one than 1886.
Who's it you support?
Steady on. I think we've got one. I think we've got one older than that.
Have you?
But this is why this is quite a good thing. It's first time we're doing this, that we're all sat around the computer chatting about the sale, because it brings our focus back in the auction as well. Because as Adam says, obviously we're now focused on the forthcoming sales, which obviously we've got for the rest of the year, and planning the next series of sales, and obviously we're planning on adding new categories to the Graham Budd auctions moving forward. So yeah, no, this is a real. It brings it back again. What we're actually got for sale. It's okay cataloguing it and on to the next lot, but sitting down, spending 35, 40 minutes chatting about the upcoming sale, and especially I have the great pleasure of selling the stuff in a couple of weeks' time. So it brings it back into focus again. So yeah, that was wonderful.
It's a wish list, isn't it? If any collector in our areas, you to write down the stuff you'd really truly like to buy or look at, or it really is there before you in 1,100 lots. It's incredible, and it's so eclectic. I think a lot of the joy of working together as a team is that we're all, it's what you do for a living. It's what we do and how you pay your bills, but we're all sports fans. And I think just the excitement between the team that we've got, we generally sort of get what we're looking at. We generally get a kick out of putting together what we think is a really, really sharp, really, really interesting catalogue. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Great. Well, listen, guys, thank you very much for your musing. That was all very insightful and really enjoyed chatting to you. Just to reiterate, the sale, 7th and 8th of March, it's online now at www.grahambuddauction.co.uk. It's all there for you, all photographed, and any questions, any queries, do get in touch with us. Or if you wish to bid on anything, again, please get in touch. All the information is there for you. And just moving on, just the rest of the year, as I mentioned, we're moving on to the next sets of sales. We're building now towards our 6th and 7th of June auction, and that will include a very good sort of Pelly section, obviously the sad news of Pelly passing. So we have got some really nice items that have been consigned for the 6th and 7th of June sale. Now, we will get to a point where there's obviously a deadline on the website there, but it's a movable feast at the moment. So once we get to a certain number, we will close the sale. So if you want to get items in the sale, please get them in early. Moving forward from that, the 5th and 6th of September, that's the auction after summer, and that will include our World Cup sale 20 years after England won the World Cup in Australia. So we've got a nice section within that catalogue, and already we've got some nice World Cup items consigned for that sale, including a match-worn jersey from the 2003 final. We are planning our first vinyl and pop culture sale as well in the autumn. John Garrett, who used to be speaking earlier on, who's our senior valuer, will take lead on that sale. And again, any questions on that, any lots you want valued, by all means, do contact John, and we can discuss the sale of those items for the autumn. And the final sale of the year, 5th and 6th of December, again, just a sporting sale as it stands at the moment. But again, we're always looking to sort of add sections to that. So again, we'll look forward to the items of value there. We do have a sort of single owner sale planned for the autumn, but we'll keep it under wraps at the moment. I was working on that at the moment, and actually quite an exciting sale for us. So thank you very much for listening. Anyone, any comments, any questions, do get in contact with us. Thanks, Adam, and thank you, John.
Cheers,
Cheers,
boys.
Dave.